Alright, so we're finally getting started on the car. First, you're going to want to break the lug nuts, then we're going to jack up the car and throw it on some jack stands. Next thing you want to do is go ahead and take your battery out, as you don't want to mess with any of the electronics, and we're going to remove a lot more stuff than just that. Alright, so getting started with the teardown, we're just removing some of the hoses, and we're going to go ahead and start removing other things like the battery tray, starter, and anything that we pretty much removed from the black car that it's going to get in the way of removing the transmission.
Dried out battery acid that was underneath the plastic. It was in between here and the metal part. There's still a little bit left, but nice. Yeah.
Cigarette.
Yeah. I found on my Prelude, when I pulled my battery tray out again, found a 10mm and a 12mm socket down in here.
Nice.
And then laying right here was like a 10mm combination wrench. Some interesting things you'll find when you pull stuff out of a Prelude. Found a butterfly knife under my back seat and a tore apart voodoo doll under my spare tire when I first bought it. That was creepy.
Yeah, I definitely freaked out a little bit by that.
But the butterfly knife, I didn't find that till I'd already owned the car for like 2.5 years. I was taking the back seat out so I could redo the wiring to my sub instead of just having it run along the side of the seat between the panel or the side.
Mm-hmm. Full plastic.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I actually was going to do it properly, so I took the back seat out with the butterfly knife.
Here's the interior. You're going to want to take off all that stuff too that's going to be in your way. Remove as much as you can and you're comfortable with, just so that you can have more space to work.
The hardest part.
Now we're just draining the transmission. Now a lot of the stuff that we did to the black car, we're going to go ahead and want to do to this car as well, including removing anything we need so that we can get that transmission out. So we're going to continue with the teardown, removing stuff like the starter.
So we're just unbolting the mounts here on the bottom, right?
Yep.
They connect to the body of the car.
Well, that's not going to come completely out. I still have some other stuff to undo. But
So yeah, we're just gonna do the top end, and then from the bottom, the rest of the shift assembly comes off.
Now as you can see, we got the transmission out. It was a pretty tough job to drop out, but it's similar to as the black car, and just wasn't really able to record it while helping to take it out. So unbolt take the, what are we doing? We took the inspection plate off and rotated the motor to relieve the bolts from the pressure plate here to the torque converter, and then remove all the transmission bolts and drop the transmission. And then there is the cable for the automatic shifter, which has to come out with the rest of the stuff, which we will remove from the inside there. Just a quick glance at everything I've removed, including the steering wheel and underneath the steering column, just to give me some more room to work.
Alright. So to remove the automatic shifter, you're gonna have to remove this heat shield here. There are 4 bolts, 2 on this end and 2 on the far end back there, and you can just let it lay on the exhaust. It doesn't really get in the way. And down there, you can kind of see that's where the automatic shifter connects to. There's 2 10mm bolts crisscross from each other. So you're just gonna want to undo those, and it comes down to that metal plate right there. Can't really slide it off on this end because there's another bolt here that holds the shifter up there. I don't know if you can see that. Let me turn down the, so there you can see that there. And so that goes there. That doesn't really come off easy because there's like some type of some oil just dripped on my face. Nice. There is connected there It doesn't slide off. So I'm probably going to cut that and then try and pull the rest of it out from inside the cab with the automatic selector. Oh, and another thing, try to not, if you're doing this on a four-wheel steering car like mine, try not to mess with the whole rear steering linkage here, little rear steer shaft or whatever. I think there's supposed to be a boot here. That doesn't, looks like it's torn about there. So yeah, let's just try not to mess with that too much. So there was 4 more bolts that connect under here, right next to the four-wheel steering rack. You can see that there. There was 2 right underneath, so it's really difficult to reach to, but I got them out. Alright, now to make this job a little easier to remove the pedals and stuff, so there's a couple bolts you're going to have to remove from in here. There's a little pin that holds this nut here, or bolt I guess, in through the brake pedal and the actual brake booster. I want to say right, brake booster. And this actually is what makes that holds it intact and gives you that braking, power assisted braking and overall braking. And there's a pin that holds that, a cotter pin I believe is what they're called. You gotta bend that straight and pull it out. Use some pliers there. I had to remove the steering column to give me, well, at least try to as much as I could. It's detached and pulled out, as you can see it hanging kind of there. There's only one bolt. It's a 10mm bolt for this car that holds it in. Right here, as you can, if you watch the let's see if I can show it to you. It's very difficult to see that hole right there that's circled. Yeah, let's see that hole. It's just one 10mm bolt runs through it, holds it in place. And 2 brackets connect there, there. That's the one, and then a metal one that rings around here itself somewhere. And then you just pull it out. These wires are all still attached, so they're really, really difficult to remove because they haven't been touched in over 20 years. So I just left it attached. It's mostly out of my way. I've got these pedals almost out. They're giving me a fight. I'm trying to figure out what it is, and I'll pull them out and throw in the man pedal.
So here's how we covered up the hole from the automatic transmission using some sealant and metal, and as well some heat resistant tape and heat resistant padding. And here we have Steven putting in the new rear main seal. As we're already down here, might as well.
It's definitely Allison.
And that hole right there, you just pull that grommet out, and that's where you're going to want to install the new clutch master cylinder. Now an important piece for our manual transmission is our brand new flywheel. Now we're using some red Loctite on the bolts. You're going to want to go in a crisscross pattern, and I believe you're going to want to torque it up to 55 foot-pounds. I'm not exactly sure, I kind of forgot. Now you're going to want to go ahead and slide on that new clutch with your clutch alignment tool, and once you've got that aligned, you're going to want to go ahead and install the new pressure plate.
18 foot-pounds. Okay. We'll put some blue lock down on these?
Yeah.
Is that up top? Yeah. It's in that. This one right here. Is it blue? I know the bottle's blue, but is it? No, there's like a little label on it that'll be blue or red.
Medium strength, but I thought
Yeah.
Now for these bolts, we're going to be using the blue Loctite thread locker, and we're going to be tightening them again in a crisscross pattern, but to 18 foot-pounds. That I do know for sure. Okay, so we're going to be ending it here for part 3. It is kind of all over the place, but I mean it's kind of hard to film here and there when you need to do some work. You know, I'll take as much help as I could get, but obviously don't want to have them doing everything. For the next part, there wasn't a lot that I really could film. The last bits, putting it together, probably not as much on camera. Everything should be all done by the next episode, so if you guys are anywhat interested in watching it, it should be up in a bit. That focus though.